Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology post, which you can see on my other page, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, do a quick review of the aspects, and then play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Five of Wands. And Five of Wands in astrology represents the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit in the sign of Leo. Leo is a fire sign. Wands in tarot represent fire. And fire as an elemental symbol has to do with the things that we're passionate about, the things that drive us into action. That sort of spark, that inspiration, that enthusiasm that just comes up for us in a way that makes us want to take action and get moving on something. And here we see the Five of Wands, and it looks a little bit like a competition. There might be some conflict here. There's definitely maybe a little rivalry. And a show of power, if you will, a struggle for dominance or to show people who is dominant here. But, understand and notice that these people are all hitting above the belt. They don't seem to be swinging sticks directly at one another, trying to hurt one another physically, right? So this can be really kind of a friendly sparring match, or just a sort of a frustrating moment where you wind up in the middle of a bunch of people with similar passions to yours, and you got to kind of see if you can establish dominance if you are going to stay in that group of people. But it definitely indicates sort of I would say like friendly rivalry, okay? The kind of competition where we don't have to pull out the guns or the big guns. We don't have to go for the jugular with anybody in this particular situation. So if you're feeling like you're in a competitive place with some other people who might have some fiery personalities, or some passion and drive to take care of something that maybe you have a similar passion and drive. If you feel like you're in that situation, just remember, we're not here to hurt anybody. We're gonna keep our sparring friendly, and not give anybody a concussion, and that can be really good for us. That level of competition can be good for us to sort of hone our wit and really get specific about what we're doing with this passion and drive that we have. And with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Leo, and so is Mercury. And Leo is ruled by the sun. Sun is in Leo, so sun is right at home. It's feeling its regal best in the sign that it rules. And the sun really is kind of the king of everything in our worlds, right? We wouldn't have life on Earth without the sun's light, and that's a real fact. But also this time of year, we've just gotten past the really peak days of the longest days of the summer, but this is still the time of year when we're having the peak in heat and in the effects of the summer sun on us. So we want to shine at this time. We really want to, we become a little self-centered, perhaps even a little bit vain. Perhaps we've got our summer hair done, or we've got our summer toes done. We're looking very glowing and gorgeous from being outside and playing in the water and just enjoying soaking up the sun. So that's that's a whole vibe for Sun and Leo. But it's not just about glowing for others. It's that the sun in Leo sort of invites all of us to notice the part of us that feels like I might be royalty, and invites all of us to look our best and to feel our best and to be interested in showing people what they can appreciate about us, and also to be interested in appreciating what other people bring to the table. We all bring something special, so now's the time to let it shine. And Mercury in Leo really says, yes, we can also speak and plan and think in more grandiose terms than we normally do for ourselves. And that's great, because Mercury is trying to Jupiter down here, saying, yes, we've got an upgrade coming. We have the bigger, better idea for ourselves in sight, and we are planning in that direction. Okay, so go ahead and start to embody it. We speak and use the present tense when we are manifesting good things for the future, right? On the moon side of the page, in the feeling life, the moon is in Gemini. It's a waning crescent moon. Just a few more days left. I think it's on Thursday that the new moon in Leo comes to us. So this is a time to be letting go. And since the moon is in Gemini, and it's about our conversations, our communications, our desire to share information, it could be a good time to be, since we're in the mode of releasing unhelpful ways of speaking or thinking. We all have these things that we get stuck on, and we thought that these linguistic habits would work for everyone forever, and the truth of the matter is that they no longer work for everyone forever. So we have to kind of make a shift so that we can be inclusive and considerate of other people when we speak. So that's something to think about at this time. On the moon side of the page today, this is late in the evening, 11:27 p.m. Moon goes trine to Saturn. This is a time when we have emotional strength. We could probably handle something that we would normally rather not handle in terms of our emotional or intuitive life. And Saturn there says, look, just do what's tried and true. Do what's traditional. Do what you know will work. And that trine vibration says, if you do what you know will work to handle the feelings that you're dealing with, that trine vibration says it's a blessing. There's really not anything you can do wrong if you're acting in alignment with that aspect. And then on the sun side of the page today, we have one aspect, and it's actually tomorrow morning at 1:13 a.m. Venus goes square to Jupiter. So, it's a square, and square usually brings up a challenge. It asks, how are you going to behave, right? Venus is receptive, especially of resources, but also of attention and affection. And Jupiter is a giver. Jupiter is very generous, very growth-oriented, very interested in our expansion, and just in our joy, right? In making sure that we have everything we want. So these two get along very fine, and we should be very friendly and wide open and interested in sharing. But that square vibration says, yeah, we don't have a lot of seriousness here at this time, okay? Jupiter is very jovial, very happy. We like to keep it light, okay? So because we don't have much seriousness on board at this time, because we don't have a very strong sense of responsibility when it comes to this kind of stuff, receiving those expanded resources. You never know what you're gonna do when they roll that truckload of money up in front of your house. That square just says, how are you gonna act? Well, you're gonna act like you know that you're not in a very serious space with this Venus and Jupiter, and you're going to keep it light, okay? Let's try not to get too serious or to start anything, or try to create a foundation on Venus square Jupiter. That's not the hill you want to be fighting on. I mentioned Mercury trine to Jupiter. We are studying for our upgrade, okay? We have a bigger idea of who we are becoming, and Mercury is helping us look forward and see the plan so that we can communicate it and move forward on it. North Node is conjunct to Uranus through August 15th, and they are in Taurus, so this is also about being well-resourced and receiving the things that we like to receive. North Node is like our cultural trajectory at this time for our short-term goals, is to receive, to call in abundant resources for ourselves. And then Uranus says, yeah, I like to change things up. So it's a pretty uncomfortable fit for Uranus and North Node, and for Uranus and in Taurus. It can look like it can look like the trajectory is shifting, and it can look like we just don't know whether we're going to have everything that we need. And, we have to focus on the knowledge that we currently have everything that we need, and that we will have everything we need. And we have to focus on remembering what it feels like to have all of your needs and desires met, okay? Don't let your uncertainty about your ability to secure these resources in the future become an obsession that draws you away, that makes you, that brings you into this place of feeling like you lack what you need. Sun in opposition to Pluto, which is retrograde. Pluto retrograde is just taking us through these deep internal changes. No big deal, just about foundational stuff that's probably shifting and moving, and we may not even really know what it is until the whole story has been written. And the Sun's opposition there says, we're struggling a little bit, and maybe we're struggling a little bit with ourselves for self-control, but there's sort of a struggle for like a power struggle going on there. And, in opposition, there is conflict available, but there is also an opportunity to find the balance. And to me, in the balance, we find that we're powerful enough to choose the right changes to go through and to make the changes that we don't know we're going through. Saturn, and to be successful with it. Saturn is retrograde through October 22 in the sign of Aquarius. Only you can be the judge regarding your participation in the community. You know whether or not you are participating at the level that you think you would like to be. And so you know what it is that you need to do if you find that you have not. And you also know where you've gotten slowed down by not showing up where you were meant to be. And you also know where you've been rewarded by showing up where you were meant to be. So you have those examples, and you know that if you do what you say you're going to do, if you attend to community in a way that is tried and true, then that's going to work out well for you. Neptune is retrograde, which is dispelling illusions for us at this time, and Sun is trine to Neptune in retrograde. And this brings out a lot of compassion in us. Sun trine to retrograde to Sun trine to Neptune, and compassion for stuff that's happening in the outer life. So compassion for people we would meet out in the community, and it's not really a challenge, it's a blessing here. We feel drawn to maybe take advantage of a volunteer opportunity, or some way showing up in personal and spirited connection for our community. And that trine vibration says if you can do that, if you can make that effort, again, there will be a blessing there for you, okay? Ideal possible functioning will come about, and possibly a good outcome as well. Probably a good outcome. Chiron retrograde, healing our own social wounds, okay? So we spend a lot of time in each sign when it's Chiron. Chiron is in Aries from 2018 to 2026, I believe. So we're right in the middle of this whole discussion about diversity and inclusion and what it's like to be out in culture when culture treats you like you're different or unacceptable. And a lot of people, many of us, have these social wounds around feeling excluded or just not accepted by the people around us. And we've probably learned a lot over the years regarding how, especially if you're one of those people who has felt that sense of exclusion, or just kind of sticking out like a sore thumb, or not quite fitting in. You have probably learned a lot over the years about helping other people feel included and accepted as they are. And now that you have learned that stuff, you can turn what you have learned back in on yourself and see what you can break down in terms of these old defenses that you've built up for getting along out in culture. And with all of that said, I'm going to throw this card. Oh, the Ten of Pentacles. Very nice. Very nice. I love that. So the Ten of Pentacles is an expression of ultimate well-resourced satisfaction. Not just satisfaction, but how do I say that? Ultimate I'm going to say satisfaction. Just it's an expression of having built a physical world around you that is comfortable and that includes everybody that you want to include, and that feels good and well resourced to you. Okay, so usually, often, there's a family in the picture. We see, you know, a person with a child, and we see another person sort of standing in the center, and I guess we kind of assume the card is about that person. And then there's an older person on the side here and some dogs. So this person has a family around them. That's a physical resource that gives one a lot of comfort. But they also have a very nice home. That's a physical resource that gives them a lot of comfort. This garden wall looks like a physical resource that gives us a lot of comfort. And then all of these pentacles just sort of represent your health and your wealth. So, it's really about being well resourced at this time. And, if I go back to the page here, we're having some little struggles for control over our own impulses at this time. Well, we're also having a little struggle around the uncertainty about where our resources for our future are coming in, right? Like, we might be doing just fine right now. We might be hustling to do a little bit better, especially now that prices are going up and things are a little difficult. But definitely we've got, our mind on our money and our money on our mind. And definitely, like, Ten of Pentacles is this sort of ultimate expression of being, of having all the resources you need, all the physical material comforts you need in life. So, if this is where you are, please, have some gratitude. And if this is where you are not, but this is what you aspire to, as many of us do, understand that part of getting here is being grateful for what you have right now, understanding that you do have what you need right now, and being grateful that your needs and desires are met. Taken together with the Five of Wands, like, these are completely different cards, right? So Wands are fire, Pentacles are earth, and we have conflict here where we seem to have sort of peaceful harmony here. And it's 5 to 10, so, really the number has doubled, and we've come a long way from sparring matches, with people who have similar ideas to ours, but, different ideas about how to execute them, right? And the last couple of days, we've had cards come up that indicate that you can sort of, if you have a passion, if you have a drive, if you have something that you're trying to get to, even if it's just this ultimate expression of material comfort in the world, if you have something you're trying to get to, and you have a fire in your gut to get there, this can be a really frustrating situation to be in, because I promise you that a fire sign, although fire signs have spark in them, although fire signs have fight in them, fire sign does not want to sit around and fight with other people about their sparks and their drives and their enthusiasm. Fire sign wants to get on with it and get their own job done. So I'm going to point to this moon trine Saturn, and I'm going to say, show some emotional strength when you find yourself in this little fight and fracas with other people. Ask yourself whether it's necessary to be in that fight, okay? And show some emotional strength. Do what you know will work to help you move forward toward that expression of financial and physical well-being, all right? Do what you know is going to work, and you got to know that this is not going to work, right? So again, I'm going to advise, if you find yourself in that, it can be good to engage in a little rivalry. You kind of get to know the people that you are competing with, and you know their weaknesses and their strengths, and you don't ever have to establish dominance there, as long as in your own life you get to the place of dominance that you desire to be in. And by dominance, I just mean, being well resourced and having all the nice things and family around you that you'd like to have. Yeah. I think that's it. I think that's you know, again, you have this person with their back sort of turned in the center of the picture. There's another person here with their back turned. These people are engaged in with one another in a really peaceful way. So you have a choice to make here. You can be at fives with some people, and you can just be, you know, swinging sticks about, trying to show everybody who's boss. Or you can be at tens with a group of people that you're close to and that you take good care of, or who take good care of you. And that looks like a much more peaceful, fun vibe to be part of. And that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Remember what it is like. Remember, think about, you know, if you don't feel well-resourced at this time, there must have been a time when you did feel like you had everything. And I want you to really go back and think about how that felt. And understand that if you're still up and walking around, if you're logging into the internet every day, if you're waking up in a house with a bed and a refrigerator every day, or an apartment with a bed and a refrigerator every day, you're one of the really lucky ones, okay? You're one of the really blessed people. You have good material resources on your side. So be grateful for what you have, okay? And stand in that feeling of being well-resourced. Stand in that feeling of gratitude for what it is that you have. And, you know, that gratitude will be answered with more positivity. Okay, friends, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your presence here. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more astrology today and tarot.